Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Hit 'em high, hit 'em low. I just wanted to rub it in. You got Joey Lasagna back here. He is a Giants fan.
Yeah, he's back here.
Pierre's over here helping us out too. He's got a Giants shirt on.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I think you had a few stints with the Eagles there.
Oh.
Who was your favorite Eagle to play against?
As soon as you say the Eagles, I go, I start flinching. And you think I'm kidding. Well, you know I'm not kidding. Sitting in the locker room before the Buddy Ryan Eagles, sitting in the locker room before the game, I wasn't studying my playbook. I was going, all right, come on, hang in there.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. I actually did that. I said, come on, it's going to be rough.
You're doing a few Hail Marys?
Oh, my God. I saw Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Clyde Simmons, Seb Joyner. Oh. And Buddy Ryan, when he was coaching there,
yeah,
he didn't care if you scored. Just kill the quarterback. That's all I'm worried about.
So, yeah, tell me.
But this team, this reminds me of that team because they're big. The Philadelphia Eagles are a big football team.
Yeah.
And, and they're talented too. So they have that great formula that really works in the NFL as well as anything. We talk about speed all the time. We don't talk about size enough because the great Bill Parcells once told me, hey, Sims, fast guys get slower. Big people never get smaller during the year. And, late in the year, that's a big deal. It really is. And the Eagles kind of show that. They're truly a powerful football team with speed and talent, all that to go with it. And of course, we saw it when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. And Reggie White, obviously, you had a great story, though, about him one time where he sacked you.
No, he hit me. He did. He did. Him and Jerome Brown both hit me at the same time.
Right.
At Giant Stadium. A really cold, terrible day. And I was like laying down there, and I was like kind of sitting there for a second, and Reggie White and Jerome Brown picked me up. And they were slapping me on the butt. Come on, hang in there. I swear, it was like yesterday. And I go, are they doing that because they're making fun of me or they respect me?
Yeah.
And I think as time went on, Reggie always said things to me that were very nice.
Right.
So I think I'm going to just take it as respect.
And didn't Reggie one time sack you or hit you to the ground and say, man, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be back here in like another play or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Reggie talked like Muhammad Ali. That's right. I'm going to be here all day. No. Is that a good Muhammad Ali?
It works for
now. Yeah, it works for now. And, I'm laying on the ground. He's saying it to me. And I'm looking at my right tackle. It was Carl Nelson. And you always know who gives up the head of the sack because he's, hey, are you okay? And I looked at Carl and said, is this going to go on? I'm going to clean it up. Is this going to go on all night? This is the first 2 plays of the game. Yeah. And Reggie White goes, that's right. It's going to go on all night. And then I said something to Reggie White that I regretted and shouldn't have said. I can't even repeat it here. Yeah. But it was not nice. And he looked at me and he got even with me over the years.
Yeah,
so whatever. That's my Eagles story. And these Eagles, this football team reminds me of that. And of course, the fans, they love their Eagles as much as any fan base in the NFL.
They do. And that's what's so cool about the dynamic of the state of New Jersey, right? Is that we got the Jets, we got the Giants, and then South Jersey's all Eagles.
Yeah, it's all Eagle fans.
We'll dive into it. Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, the rich get richer right here with this offseason. It's unbelievable what they've done. It's unbelievable that they just keep addressing things that you seem are kind of already set in stone and great. They're making them even better. Right. First 2 picks, 2 first-rounders, pick number 9 and pick 30. They start off with Jalen Carter, who was the consensus best football player in this year's draft by everybody who did any research on this. Yeah. And they got him at pick number 9.
I think I watched 10 plays and went, oh my gosh.
That's
really, I'm telling you, it didn't take long. I didn't go, I'm going to watch every play. After I watched 2 games, I said, I'm convinced. And, he'll get mad at this, Warren Sapp. But he reminds me of Warren Sapp, a big guy, really athletic, that just can do anything. All that movement. They always say he's bendy or he can bend. Yeah, he can. He's got every bit of that.
He's super limber for a guy
Power,
his
speed,
size.
and that's the way to say it. And he's limber.
Yeah,
those 3 things.
Definitely.
So Nolan Smith, they picked him at the 30th pick of the draft. I thought he was a top 10 player. I mean, man, could he get to the quarterback? He has great speed to rush and terrific job by the Eagles.
It really is ridiculous. And, of course, 2 Georgia football players a year before that, right? They got Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, both Georgia football players. And yeah, it's just unbelievable what they're doing as far as drafting guys that have a ton of experience and a ton of athleticism and versatility as far as what they need for their football team. They come back in round 3 with Tyler Steen, offensive tackle of Alabama, with pick number 65, adding depth again to an offensive line that you think is already pretty set in stone and has a lot of good talent.
They need some backup.
But yeah, and they're getting younger, which is always important for a team that has a lot of veteran leadership, especially at that offensive line. And then 66 pick, the next pick, they come back with Sidney Brown, safety, Illinois, another really good football player out of Illinois, out of that Illinois secondary. So unbelievable job by the Fighting Illini, all right, for finding some really talented football players. But Sidney Brown, safety, very versatile again, tough, hard-nosed football player that'll fit in well with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they went back with Ringo, the cornerback out of Georgia. Which is just unbelievable. So, they really value, again, obviously Kirby Smart's opinion. Right. They value his coaching and what he's teaching these guys. And also they value, of course, the way they recruit, because they see very eye to eye as far as the talent that they're amassing there.
Right. Well, for Jalen Carter to fall to number 9, that tells me that Howie Roseman the whole time was sitting there going, if he falls, we're going to get him.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried about some of the off-the-field stuff. Well, they're worried about it. I shouldn't say that. But his attitude, whatever it is. But, a couple things. One, when you talk about Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, not good years by my estimation last year. Nakobe hurt, of course. Jordan Davis, when I saw him play, I didn't see the impact I thought he would. But getting a couple teammates there with them now will invigorate them. But you and I had talked before we started this that defensive tackle might be one of the hardest spots in the NFL to adapt to coming out of college.
Definitely.
Because these offensive line, this is no more just we're going to block the guy in front of us. Offensive lines are coming, people are coming from everywhere, hitting you and trying to get used to all that is really tough. So we'll see if Jordan Davis improves a lot this year. But again, the draft, the trade for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I mean, so
that's another one.
And that's the thing with Jalen Carter, and I think it's great to bring up, right, that Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, like absolute pros, veterans of the game. They're the greatest ambassadors ever for a young, talented football player to say, hey, man, like, this is the great opportunity that you have with your career right now.
Right.
Don't mess it up, because look at us. We're in the league 10-plus years now, and we've been doing this a long time at a high level, and they're reaping the benefits of it, of enjoying it, hanging around, being around a lot of good football teams in their career, winning a Super Bowl that first go-around with Doug Peterson, now getting back to the Super Bowl with Nick Sirianni. So a lot of good things that are being built right there.
Yeah.
And this is the defensive line potentially for Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Hassan Riddick, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis. I mean, that's ridiculous how talented that team really could be.
Well, I want to tell Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones, don't listen to this. You don't want to hear this because it's going to be rough. Just think what you got to go against. And think about this.
We discussed, right, with the Giants, how they solidified their offense even more through the draft, right? But also, making sure that they're really, building around the interior because of what the rest of the people in their division are doing.
I'm going to go back to this Philly D line. When you look at it, you train to get ready for the season, and they can train like sprinters, like going, we just need a short burst. Because somebody else can come in for me after I get 2 plays and I'm tired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about endurance anymore. Mm-hmm. They're so deep that you can go in and you don't have to pace yourself or anything. I think that's a pretty big deal too.
It definitely is.
Especially with speed guys.
It for sure is. And that's the thing. The Eagles, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger, they're getting bigger, and that's always a good thing when you're playing football. Howie Roseman, super active in the draft. Unbelievable how aggressive he is. He doesn't waste any time at all with anything. DeAndre Swift, that trade with the Detroit Lions, unbelievable to add him into that offensive mix. And then Olamide Zaccheaus, a receiver from Atlanta, who I really like, and I was fortunate enough to be a teammate with his for just a preseason, actually. But super talented football player. Actually went to St. Joe's Prep Philly in Philadelphia, so he's coming back home, which is really cool. And again, just unbelievable the versatility they have now with their roster.
Yeah, just you talking about the wide receiver and saying that, I've always thought this. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, if something happened to one of those two, I think it changes their offense because they got you. They line up outside, and what are you going to do? You're going to try to play him man-to-man all the time? Good luck if you do that. Because we got a good offensive line and we can protect. So that's just one thing. So the fact that they got a little insurance for that group, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I think Nick Sirianni and them, they got a really good pulse of their football team and just kind of how to add depth to it. And the big question mark, really, I think, for this football team is how quickly does Brian Johnson and Sean Desai, the new defensive coordinator, offensive coordinators, get their own, voice essentially in their scheme and how they go about game planning and putting the players in a good position to succeed like they did last year.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni is a big guy on the offensive side, so he can help that transition.
And Brian Johnson was there, so he knows how it was made last year and how the success went, and he was a big part of that, right? And now it's his show to take over.
Yeah. So and the other thing is, too, the last one, I just kept thinking, who are they going to lose on this football team? They got to lose some players because of money. Hayes, what are you laughing about?
No, it's just you're right though. You think that there's some,
but the fact that they kept James Bradbury and Darius Slay as their corners and able to do that with the money is a big deal too.
It's crazy
because they can play man to man. They're both terrific at it. They're smart veteran football players who, again, there's so much to talk about, but they help we can be aggressive because we can trust our corners, and not many teams in the NFL can say they got a pair to play as good as these two do.
Yeah, absolutely right. And sorry to all the Commanders fans out there. Sorry to all the Giants fans out there. Sorry to the Cowboys. The Eagles are not going anywhere. Like and subscribe to this video. We'll be back for more breaking down the NFL draft.